Chaudhry is Pakistan's Information and Broadcasting Minister. He joins us now live from Islamabad. Minister, thank you very much for joining us here on TRT World. Now, just one more day to go before America's withdrawal deadline expires. Tell me, how does Pakistan deal with the remnants of 20 years of war at its doorsteps?
Absolutely. I mean, it's very worrying right now for us. We have dealt with Afghanistan for a very long time. This story of Afghanistan is very old. In '88, when Soviet Union left Afghanistan, we had to deal with the problems left behind. And now with the USA and NATO forces leaving Afghanistan, we are again at a quagmire of Afghanistan, and we are, dealing with this issue. We know that millions and millions of people, if Afghanistan doesn't get stabilized, will start moving towards Pakistan, and we are already hosting about 3.5 million refugees, and our economy is not that strong that we can take more refugees. And also the way Afghanistan has been abandoned in the past, and if the same mistake, the word repeats again, that means that we will create a hub of extremist organization right at the border of Pakistan, which is obviously hugely worrisome for us. And we are trying our best to stabilize Afghanistan. We are working with regional powers and international powers for an inclusive government in Afghanistan. But if Pakistan's advice is ignored, then rest assured that this will be a huge mess that not only Pakistan but world has to deal with.
Indeed, Minister, the situation in Afghanistan appears to be dire at the moment. There are reports of increasing attacks on the airport, but I do want to focus on the humanitarian side. Now, reports tell us that unprecedented numbers of people from Afghanistan have crossed into Pakistan. Now, your country already hosts 3 million Afghan refugees. So tell me, how does Prime Minister Imran Khan's government plan to deal with this refugee crisis?
At the moment, there is no refugee crisis as such. We have evacuated foreign nationals from Kabul, and it involves all these the international bodies whose affiliates and were working in Kabul, and even now our borders are open. Pakistan International Airline has evacuated about 2,000 plus people from Kabul. As far as migrants are concerned, because this change was bloodless, so till today the refugee crisis is not there, and frankly our borders are actually normal right now. But if the instability continues, then we have a very comprehensive plan. We don't want to repeat 1977, 79 again in Pakistan. We don't want these migrants to get into Pakistan. We will have we will have arrangements at the border, and we would like the immigrants, God forbid, if there will be exodus of the people, we have our own comprehensive strategy to deal with. But obviously, the world has to come up for help to help Pakistan if in that eventually.
Minister, can you please expand on how do you think the world can help Pakistan at this point? Because certainly the next few weeks are going to be extremely crucial for the future of Afghanistan. I know your government has said that you are in talks with other international players to decide whether or not to recognize the Taliban. So certainly there are many concerns at this point. But tell me, how do you think the international community can help Pakistan at this point?
First is obviously the world must listen to Pakistan. In the recent past, Pakistan's advice has not been paid heed to. And unfortunately, if Pakistan's advice and Prime Minister of Pakistan's advice would have been listened, things would have been different today in Afghanistan. Had we postponed the Afghan elections and worked on an inclusive government, things would have been different. But unfortunately, then government Ashraf Ghani and the powers did not listen to Pakistan, and we have this huge problem now at our doorsteps. Now, I believe the first thing we should do is that the Pakistan's efforts for an inclusive government must be supported. We have two tracks right now. One is Troika Plus that is going on in Doha. which includes Russia, China, and USA and Pakistan. But I believe the other track, which includes Turkey, Pakistan, Central Asian states, and Iran, this track needs to be actually takes need to take the leadership of this problem. Turkey and Pakistan are very important players in this issue, and we are obviously closely in touch with President Tayyip Erdogan, and we want Pakistan and Turkey are actually partners in peace as far as Afghanistan is concerned. So, and I hope that the solution that will be led by Pakistan, Turkey, and other regional powers will be supported by international players. And obviously, forming government in Afghanistan is the job of the people of Afghanistan. But we, as regional powers, have to help Afghanistan to stabilize. But in case if Afghanistan doesn't stabilize, then obviously it will be a huge challenge for regional powers as well as for international powers to deal with that.
Indeed, Minister Fawad Chaudhry, it's always a pleasure talking to you, sir. Thank you very much for talking to us here on TRT World.